Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle. Thank you, as always, for joining us. The real chaos agents. That's the focus of tonight's angle. After Kamala Harris's loser campaign of vibes and jibes, and with Trump's MAGA base unshakable even with the trade tumult, Democrats need to find an edge, any edge, against President Trump. They may not have a leader, they may not have a message, but they think they found a word.
When there's economic chaos, no one wants to make investments in the United States.
This chaos seems to be just a game for Donald Trump.
And that chaos is hurting the American brand.
Mark my words, this chaotic chapter is not over.
Chaos, chaotic. These are the magic words culled from a survey done by a Democrat group last month. Now, when asked if certain words or phrases accurately describe Trump, chaotic topped the list with 62% of voters saying that word accurately described him. And now, for lack of any better idea, Democrats' go-to word in any speech or any media appearance will be chaotic. Of course, this is the height of irony, is it not? Because you know what chaos is?
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Systems we have in place were ignored. Our armed services request for air support. Multiple military personnel saying this is not a good idea. Our snipers asking for permission to engage. Every one of them ignored. These are red flags. Why were they ignored?
Now that's chaos. And the Democrats talk about Trump chaos because of some market volatility. We had people dropping from planes in Afghanistan, the rush at the airport. You know what else is really chaotic? When Biden's reckless spending and government giveaways drove up inflation for all of America and hammered consumers with higher costs.
Inflation spiked to 6.8% last month. That is the highest it's been in nearly 4 decades.
Gas prices are at an all-time high, leaving Americans with sticker shock, and it's not going away anytime soon.
I've had to cut back on shopping because things are too expensive.
Of course, the word chaos describes what was unleashed on America by Alejandro Mayorkas and Biden's puppet masters when they purposely flooded the country with millions of illegals, which Democrats knew would invariably mean that drug dealers, killers, and child predators would slip through as well.
My daughter was just 12. She had dreams to be famous. She wanted to be a famous actor. She was so funny. I really hope everybody can hear my pain. We need to stop this. We need to stop losing our littles.
We're here because we're losing our moms, our daughters, our children to criminals.
And who can forget the unending leftist chaos on college campuses with pro-Hamas protesters taking over buildings, blocking others from getting a real education, everything they did. And even this week, I don't know if you saw them blocking commuters in New York City at Grand Central Station. And let's not forget that Democrats are fine with chaos being brought to the doorsteps of Tesla dealerships across the country, as radicals terrorize innocent Tesla owners for owning a brand that liberals used to love. Bottom line, Trump's trying to clean up Biden's chaos, and it ain't easy. And on top of that, Trump's trying to reset the American economy after decades of economic chaos forced on our working class. Of course, the media's understanding of all of this is very limited, and frankly, at times sounds pretty condescending.
Listen, folks on Main Street have become accustomed to cheap goods from China and other places. TVs for $200. You couldn't get that when we were growing up. The other thing that this president is promising is jobs, right? Is it worth it to upend the global economy for HVAC jobs, right?
How simplistic of all of this. The important point is that putting American workers first, that concept, that's what won the election. Perhaps she forgot that. It's not going to just be HVAC workers, but nice try. 5 million people have lost their jobs to globalization, and more are still losing their jobs every day in IT, in consulting, information services. The list goes on and on. So the disconnect between the media elites, political, business elites, Wall Street, and the blue-collar folks, it's stunning.
Oh, will we please stop this forgotten working class?
We will not, sir. We will not,
I'll tell you why. Because everything is
Only forgotten by the Democrats.
Oh, nonsense.
Only forgotten by the
Everybody in
Democrats.
some shape or form, is part of a working class, either historically, today, or whatever. And every one of us, in some shape or form, lives in an economic environment where we are aware of what is happening in our own areas. But this idea that somehow it's Wall Street versus Main Street, and Main Street doesn't care about Wall Street.
Oh, yeah. Main Street has really felt loved and supported by the Wall Street crowd over the last 20 years. If you looked at the real median wages, they flatlined except for a short while during Trump. So all the finger-pointing by the Democrats should be aimed at their own failures when they sold out the working people and did zero to address any of the problems Trump is trying to tackle. These were their policies. Bill Clinton, remember, he was the impetus behind China joining the World Trade Organization, not Donald Trump. In the GOP, now look, we replaced most of our establishment hacks responsible for that, but the Democrats didn't. And their fake populists, AOC, Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, made bad problems worse by refusing to call out their own party for selling out the little guys that they supposedly champion. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.